Am I too late for the tournament?
You got this. I'm just saving up all my brain power for winning the tournament today.
Okay, relax.
Big talk.
Ah, you're going down.
She's a cheater. I want her deck checked.
I don't cheat.
I did it. Oh!
Back off. Just defend the pretty one. I'm not defending her because she's pretty.
Luck is an oversimplification of what it actually takes to win.
I agree. Luck is a factor, but it's more than that. I didn't mean to make you upset.
Luck is a factor?
Yes.
Paul, do you ever get lucky?
Who did that?
And it's like, yeah, like that.
Drop the mic. People are obsessed with the win.
Should be for love of the game.
Yeah. How's that look?
Just the right amount of dumb.
I hear weird echo. Does somebody have their speakers on?
I think it's gone. Is it gone now?
Yeah, it's gone. All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to the first Myrtle Beach Games Live. Kind of thrown together at the last second, but here we go. Here we are with the cast and crew of the movie Tournament. I don't know if Patricia, you want to kind of give everyone a rundown about what that is?
Sure. Thanks for joining us. We've got the 4 lovely actors from the film Tournament, and then we have my husband Mike. He was one of the producers, and I was co-writer, producer, and director as well. And we're here celebrating and kind of just launching the film being put on the Lady Filmmakers Channel, so you can rent it, and you can also just stream it if you're a subscriber on the channel, and then watch all the other content as well. So we're excited to have it on there. And we're also very appreciative of you hosting the Q&A, and I understand the Myrtle Beach Games Conway store streamed the film tonight at the store. So we appreciate that.
Yay! All right. So I guess just to kick this off, I have a list in front of me somewhere. I am so prepared. All right. So let's start with let's go with Ari first. So what I saw, you played a very passionate player that took the game very seriously, to kind of put it mildly. How did you prepare for that role?
Well, I actually went to some game shops to like learn how to play Magic, because it's not Magic, but I thought I could get some inspiration from these real life Magic players, and I did. And at first, I was like, I'm gonna pretend like I am one of these people and I know what I'm doing, because we played a little bit as a group, and I was like, I could probably get away with this. And then immediately they were like, what are you really doing here? I was like, all right, I'm doing a movie. I'm an actor. So, but then they were really nice, and they like told me a lot of things. And there was like a woman there who was very intense, passionate, as you said. And I also think Margot was just like, she's really well written character. She was like, just sort of had that energy. But yeah, I mean, I think for players, a lot of players, it is a really serious thing that they really care about a lot. So
They can definitely be a little passionate. Trash talk, yeah. Things you can't say on a live stream. All right.
Oh man, are there rules? Oh, okay.
I meant what it's like in person.
oh yeah. Has anybody ever
All
been fist? Let me ask you a question, Juan.
I've been playing Magic since I was like 15, and I've never seen a physical fight.
Really?
But you've seen the table flip, right?
Oh yeah.
I've not the literal table flip. It was more of a table push. They kind of pushed it over. They didn't go the whole.
But the table did go over.
Yes, there was stuff all over the floor.
See, that's very exciting.
Were you on the other side of that table, or you just saw it?
I was a spectator. All right. Let's see. Let's go with moving that up there so it doesn't look like I'm looking down the whole time. All right. So, Thomas, I understand you were a producer and an actor in this film, and your character was like the peacekeeper that kind of kept everyone together, kind of kept everyone cool. You had the confidence to kind of do the right thing, stand up for that, but you lacked the confidence to kind of start chatting it up with the ladies. What things did you learn about yourself when making this film?
Question. I learned, well, first off, working on the movie from the start of the production was really cool. I learned, it was like a crash course in how to make a movie, which was really cool. So I learned, I was at the casting calls and just seeing all the people come in to audition. It was really, really cool. And then like doing the location scouting, doing all the stuff that comes with it. I was like, wow, this is what it's like. This is what it is. And it taught me that, if you really want something and you really want to go after it, you can do it. And I think that was really cool. In terms of confidence, I don't know. It had like some parts of that role were like, hit a little too close to home, I guess. I did not, after the movie was over, I didn't necessarily have confidence to chat people up, I guess you could say. I came, eventually. I did get married, so it worked out.
Yes.
I don't know how. It
You
just
found one. Weird.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think when I was making this movie, I was like, no way, no way. I was just a kid sitting in the corner. But no, what a wonderful experience this movie was. Met a lot of great people, those who are here tonight, and it was just really cool.
And you got to learn how to play magic too, right?
That too, and that was really cool because, like, always know that Mike played it, my brother played it too, and I'd always watched. But when we were working on the movie, I would go to Friday Night Magic every week and sit in the card shop, and we actually were in the card shop where we were going to film. I would take notes and play, and always lose, but it was still fun. You know, like learned all the ins and outs. Like, you know, some people put the cards in the protectors and some people don't. Just like I love those tangible, like, actor business things that you can pick up just through observation. And like how there are some people who count like damage points with cards or with tokens or stuff like that. It's pretty neat. Like all of the little idiosyncrasies that people have when they play Magic. Really cool. No table flipping, no. I never saw that.
Yeah, at one point, I don't know if it was Pokemon or Magic, actually in the rule book says you can even use pennies to track your stuff.
Yeah, I remember when playing Pokemon as a kid, we had the little like the glass beads you get from Michael's. Yeah. Those looked really pretty too. So you have pretty counters when you're playing.
Until your parents stepped on them, and then
That's true.
it's almost as
Mostly me stepping on them in bare feet, which wasn't good. Not as bad as a Lego, but close.
yeah. All right. Let's see.
Whenever you get to James, you'll also have to make sure you ask him about one of his unique audition moments. I just remembered that.
Yes.
When he brought his cat.
Let's go there now then. James, Arthur is the cool, enigmatic guy. He keeps us cool when things get crazy, because obviously things got a little crazy.
Right.
Did you ever find yourself acting as the father figure while on set?
Well, actually, that's why I think I fit the role so well, because usually I'm a former teacher, so I've taught in different levels, you know, grammar school, high school, college. So when I read the role, I was like, oh, great, combination teacher and business owner. So it just fit me perfectly. So that's one of the reasons I think I felt comfortable around them, because a lot of times that's when I was a teacher, I would try to fit in with the kids. You know, you still have to maintain that distance, but you don't want to be so standoffish and far away from them. So that's how I tried to play the role also, where I was one of them, but when I had to be the boss, I could step back and be the boss.
So you have to tell them about your when you were at your audition, what interesting or funny thing happened. You remember this, Thomas?
No, that I don't remember.
I remember, and I wasn't even there because I heard the story. Remember the guy who came in and said, "No, I'm reading for that role."
And then you had to read opposite him. He was supposed to read opposite you.
Oh, and he was the real argumentative actor.
Yes.
Oh God. Yes. Oh, I'm also one of my many hats. I've made a bunch of low budget, what I call B and C movies, and so I've run into those type of actors, and I don't understand it. You know, you come to an audition, and you're going to try to tell the writer and the director or whoever's in the room what, you know, you can't do it this way, or I have to do it this way. You know, it's just unbelievable. You know, but I experienced it so much. It's just like something I just really can't wrap my mind around, but it was funny. It was I forgot exactly what he was saying. Was he trying to say that the character wouldn't do this or wouldn't do that?
Well, that was part of it, but he insisted he was reading for Arthur. And we're like,
you were reading for somebody else.
And we're like, no, he was supposed to read for like the Russian guy or something like that. Like,
oh yeah, I remember that.
And finally, we just were like, fine, let's just do it. And we're like Adam, we're like, no, we really want you to read this, but this is.
And it's really something actors though when they come in, either they'll have an attitude or they'll know what they want and they're going to stand up for it no matter what. It's like.
You should have given him my part, I think. Been a lot easier.
Capiche. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But that was so funny.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I like how you handle it because sometimes when you're seeing a lot of people and you don't have the time, you didn't have time to sit there and argue with them, and you're trying to explain it to him. He's like, no, I'm supposed to be.
All right, everybody knows this kind of guy at a game shop. So, David, you play the arrogant bully who thinks he's like the best, the ultimate. You're the guy to beat. What is it like playing this kind of guy?
I think he didn't think it. He knew it. That's like the but that was a lot of fun, man. You just walk in like you own the place. So kind of nobody wanted to sit by me at lunch, but
no, that's not fun.
No.
Hey, David, how many times did we go for screenings? And after the screening, the people that watched the movie, they didn't even want to talk to you. They're like,
it's hard,
man. They're like you went up to they didn't even shake your hand. They're like, hey, you want no.
It was rough. No, I mean that was a lot of fun. It's like everyone knows that guy in like any sport or anything you're doing. Someone's a little too cocky, a little too arrogant, and like you still kind of like them. You just wish they would stop talking at a certain point. So, I mean, as an actor, like that's like the best thing to play. Like it's just like seeking attention and all the crap that goes with it, right? So, a lot of fun on that.
All right, and so Patricia, what inspired you to make Tournament?
Gosh, there's a lot of different things, but I guess the initial spark was just a lot of the funny, quirky lingo and stories that I would hear coming from Mike and his friends when he would play Magic or after he played Magic, and then just hearing and seeing the camaraderie with all the different types of people and how they almost were like a little ragtag family in this game shop, and how close they became, and you wouldn't really see those people together in the real world. So it was kind of cool to see all these different people coming together with this common love of playing games. And so that just kind of sparked the initial idea, and it just kind of grew and turned into this.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, same question.
Yeah, I think Patricia was ready to direct. She directed a bunch of short films, ready to direct a feature. And Thomas remembers this. We had a couple of different scripts. One was a little more serious, and then this one was more just comedy. And I think at the time, I think all of us involved were just more looking for something comedy and heartfelt. And so we ended up looking at this script. The script was fairly close, and we're like, let's move forward with this one. And once we had the game shop owner's approval to shoot there, then kind of like the pieces started going together, and we had a specific date, we had a specific budget, and we just pushed forward. I think Thomas was there, then we had some other people, and it just again started the whole process, and just like it kind of got a life of its own. So it was a goal, and we got it done. It took a little longer after shooting it, but it's pretty amazing seeing it. Every time we see it, we're like shocked. Like I think Patricia and I both are like, well, that's a pretty good movie. Those are good characters written, and it's heartfelt, funny, gets a lot of emotions, and it's realistic. So it's people who don't know about gamers get a glimpse of it, And the people who do, it's like, yes, at the end of the movie, they're like, this person is this character, this person is this character. It's all the people you know, condensed into a nice short 82-minute film.
And we got a great cast. I mean, we got so lucky and made some really great friends that, I'm writing actually a project for David and Ari right now. And then a couple other things that I, hope to bring some other folks that we might be seeing here. Hopefully the timing and everything works out. But and then also started talking with Myrtle Beach Games, the owners, about possibly shooting at the store. So, and they've got 2 locations, which is really cool. So, so we're really excited to kind of go to the next phase of things.
Well, I guess
I
it's
also feel
like
like I should mention that it's my nephew's favorite movie of all time, and he is incredibly particular. He's 12, and he has opinions about everything. And the fact that he's seen it so many times, and I know it's not even because of me. Like it's like because he loves the movie. I just love it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Am I his favorite character or
Obvious.
Yes, David.
Okay.
You're right.
Good, I need that little.
I mean, your character, it's very relatable for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
My favorite movie too.
Well, we met him right at the Seattle screening, right?
Eli. Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's right. Yeah, in Seattle.
That was an
That's
awesome.
the best part. It's like everyone likes it. It was like such a, even like the cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like a weird assortment of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we weren't. It wasn't like a bunch of jocks or it was like a bunch of like individual. Like I don't know. Everyone was in their own kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
But like
That was interesting. Patricia and Thomas, and then another producer, Mariah. Remember going through. I mean, I no joke. I believe there was over 1,000 submissions for every single role. Right, Thomas? Remember that? And you're like, oh my gosh, how do you even weed through to the people you even want to see on each of them? And then remember also afterwards, when you're starting to like frame in, you're like, okay, maybe these 2 or 3 people for this role. And we had a whole wall, remember? You had the
Yeah, I was picturing that wall. They had a big blank wall in the apartment. And what we did, we put like when we were narrowing it down to like 4 or 5 people per role, we put all of their headshots like all along the wall, and like we would like just step back and it's like, well, what about this person with this person? It was really cool.
And then I wasn't there, but I would see like the videos after. I was like, okay, well, what about this person and this person? And let's see the video. And so on the iPad, right? You have the little videos on the iPad.
Yeah, that was neat.
It was pretty funny.
you just kind of gave up and then chose us.
Yeah.
This is too much. No, they showed up on time. Don't work.
Well, pretty much. I mean, I just remember like right away, James, Hal Hardy, and Ari, when the 2 of them read opposite of each other, we very much felt like, oh, this is definitely our Margot. And then we're like, he's our Stu, but he's not anything like what we thought Stu was going to be like. And with just the chemistry that they had, and then the James Tucker coming in, and you were that father figure, and that sort of like he could have been prior military, and has that presence, and an enigmatic sort of air about you. So it was just walked in the room, and then I think David, we were going back and forth on your character as to like where you would go, but we kept calling you Chris Pine. Which was funny when we found out you were actually his double for a couple things. So.
Are you really?
That was a younger me.
No, I didn't. You fancy, girl.
I had a lot of good stories back in the day.
Yeah, and what was funny is like some of the people who obviously didn't make the cut, and we couldn't remember their names, so we nicknamed people. Like there was one guy who had a big beard and always wore a Captain America t-shirt.
Yes.
So we called him Captain America Beard Man, and just like stuff like that.
That's creative.
There was a guy who was on Diagnosis Murder, so he was Diagnosis Murder Man. I think there were a couple others. There was a guy who looked like BJ Novak, so he was BJ Novak. You
I
know?
remember him. I remember that guy. BJ Novak.
And then Juan, I don't know if you knew this though, but the base camp was not. It was across the street, but we basically forced the actors to hang out in this bakery. So it was a special little party room for this bakery. It's called Baby B's Bakery. And so the part of the deal was they would rent out the space for us. They had a restroom. They could hang out there. We'd have lunch there and meals.
And cupcakes.
But they'd also every day bring us, we'd buy a certain set of cupcakes every day. So the poor actors, when, they had a break or they were not on camera, they would be back at the bakery, Baby B's Bakery. So it actually was funny because it worked out because, all the folks had to hang out together, kind of like, and become friends. And so that just transferred onto the camera. They're, backstage or off camera playing, I don't know, card games and swapping stories and talking about movies. And it was like so funny. I know one of our PA, Sandy, and I would sit there and we'd laugh and be like, it's like there really are the characters sitting here playing games and talking to each other. So then it was nice because it just transferred on to the screen.
Lots of games of exploding kittens.
That was Marissa's game, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that was fun.
Yeah. So a bakery had a party room. That's the part I'm still trying to grapple with right now.
It was a really cool bakery.
It was.
So the production story on that is we were supposed to start filming on Monday, and the Friday before there was a location right adjacent to the game shop. There was an empty space, an old store, had a bathroom, it was totally empty. We're going to bring tables in and just hang out. And that Friday, the guy said, no, I'm not going to let you use this space for the next 3 weeks. So me and one of the other producers literally walked up and down the street. We were going to rent like a nearby condo or something like that. But lo and behold, the bakery's open. Really nice lady. She's like, yeah, I have this party room you could use. You kind of rent it out for the next 3 weeks during the weekdays because my parties are on the weekend. But they do like cupcake parties for little kids. They have like 3 or 4 tables in there and thing. And we're like, this is perfect. Has a bathroom, hang out there. It's across the street. So yeah, you'll notice in the end credits, there's a special thanks to Baby B's Bakery. And that was, part of the deal. It's cupcakes and they'd have snacks and stuff for us too.
Yeah. But that was a busy road. What was that? Is it Robertson Boulevard?
Remember crosswalk?
Yeah, there was a crosswalk we had to go across.
Carl.
And it was like, we didn't know this, but it was also a main thoroughfare for the ambulances going to the hospital. So every once in a while, you're like, stop, ambulance. Because again, we don't really play games there during the daytime. It's more of a nighttime thing, right? And, game shop. How would you know during the daytime from 8 in the morning to 6 p.m. there's an ambulance every hour on that street? So
that caused some delays every day.
All right. I got to quick go handle a certain bot that decided to pop into a chat. So you kind of touched on this earlier. So what is next? Is it everybody goes to work at a fast food restaurant, then ends back up at the game shop?
Is that the real life scenario?
Well, that was Clerks too.
Oh,
I was like, I know there's a reference there, but I couldn't replace it. So,
All right.
the other crazy.
We thought about whether it's a movie, like a follow-on straight-up movie, or it's a series, or it's a movie put into little episodes. But the story could be what's going on with these folks at their new game shop. And they're all going and heading on to a regional tournament, the regional tournament that's discussed in the first tournament movie, right? So they would go to a convention or somehow eventually end up at a convention in the competition, and they could see their what do you call them? Their doppelgangers or mirror image that they're at the convention.
I've been really waiting this whole time, hoping that now Thomas, now that he's gotten married and has an adorable little baby, that he'll help write this with me. But you know,
Will you? You're on the spot.
but at minimum, he has to be in it. But I'm hoping I can get him to come on as a co-writer.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Work remotely, but yeah, no, I think the series is a much easier thing for us because then we don't have to shoot everything at once. It's okay if we split it up and you know, in terms of continuity of actors looking a certain way or whatever. Just so I think that would be a fun follow on to this, and then who knows.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of gray hair though. You can't really see it, but it's there.
That's what hair dye's for.
I was just gonna
That's true. That's true. Maybe I could do like some crazy, like purple or something.
Yes, I'll help you with that.
Great. One other funny thing about the game shop, which wasn't necessarily funny at the time, was
how dirty it
there was
was.
only one. What?
So how dirty it was.
That was authentic 25-year dust.
Yeah, it
You
was
cannot
definitely-
recreate that, and no matter how much money.
And there was, yeah, it was really cool. The sports memorabilia everywhere. It was neat. But it didn't have central air, and there was one window unit. But it was super loud. So the first assistant director, it was his job, like right before we started shooting, he would turn off the AC, and then we would shoot. And then as soon as we cut, he would turn it back on again. Yeah, so the sweat of us going through the game, that was real sweat.
I mean, he had the stick, right?
Yeah.
He had the stick
Yeah,
to turn on. He couldn't quite reach it.
And yeah, I'm used.
I just remember we all had trouble like behaving. Like
That's-
if you left us all alone for like 4
Yeah.
minutes, you're like, "Hey, calm down, everybody." There's like 10 people sitting there.
Yeah, I remember because Ricardo had a bag of peanuts, and he was like animating the peanuts. and having
You're like, I just remember getting in trouble. Like I felt like I was a kid. Like, I'm sorry, you're right. I forget we're working. Like the whole time, like, oh yeah, we're at work. Chill. Hey, everybody chill. Stop throwing things. Like all that.
But I think that
All
goes
right.
back to what you said. That goes back to what you said about the camaraderie. It's like that was built in the first couple of days. And that was some of the best parts of the shoot, was just hanging out and being goofy, playing games. And
That's why it worked, right? Because the whole thing, like, there wasn't like, it's not like an action movie. It's not like a CGI movie. Like the real baseline of the movie is like people connecting, right? And like the two little things, and so the fact that we all got to sit around the cupcake shop like kind of made it work, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no CGI when like you're having a conversation.
Right.
Like in a weird, it was like old school filmmaking in a way, like super simple. Like most of the shots were like two people talking. Oh, simple. It's kind of cool that it works, you know, like, and it's like a weird topic. Like no one's saving the world or anything, but like you still get all like the feelings and stuff, you know.
This is
Yeah.
a really good review of this movie, by the way, David. I think we
I know. Did you record it? And it's like,
I'm sure it exists now.
no, but that's why it works, right? Because it's like that's like the baseline of filmmaking is like people talking and like having a conversation. Oh, that's interesting watching them too. Kind of, I think casting. I guess whoever you hire to do that, I guess, you know.
Thomas and I.
Yeah, you three crazies, I guess. Yeah.
We made a good team, that's for sure.
I feel like they closed their eyes and like threw darts and then got us.
yes, that's exactly what we did.
God.
We should have recorded the discussion, Thomas, like the meetings and all the just laughing and just.
They were just hoping we could remember the lines. Like, that's
Yes.
I feel like, are you ever going to release our audition tapes? Because I think that'd be really weird.
You still have them?
You know, I don't remember.
On the iPad.
You know, it might be my old iPad. I think we downloaded some of them. I don't think we were supposed to, but I think I saved the one that we actually cast.
Mm.
And maybe the one where the guy argued with us to play your role. Because it was funny. It was so
Well, you should put that one up. I'd like to watch that.
And one of the cool things that or the people joining might like to know is that oh my gosh, I forgot the character's name.
Describe it.
Um,
Come on. We'll help you. I've seen the movie like 9 times. I'll help you.
Are you talking about the Russian guy, or are you talking? Who are you
no,
talking?
it's a big part.
Elliot.
Now, this is really horrible.
Is it a
Christian,
girl?
James,
Boy?
Kate,
Yes.
Armand.
Well, it was who Marissa played.
Okay.
Kate.
Yes. So that part was originally written as a guy, and it was during casting when we were having a bunch of people read with each other that we were like, "Oh, it change the dynamics and make it super interesting. If instead of like a father-son relationship, it was a father-daughter, and then that dynamic among the players was cool."
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
And it was like, we were whispering, it was like, well, what about how about we have a read for this? It's like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of conversations like that.
Yes, yes. Thomas had a lot of great ideas that we put into the film and made it give it a little extra heart. That's for sure.
But I could remember people's names back then. But when I'm trying to remember it when a bunch of people are watching, it's hard. It's like, James, you probably know this, but like when you're writing on a board, like apparently your IQ goes down a whole bunch.
Right.
In a weird way in front of a bunch of people.
Yes. Can't remember how to spell. Can't remember how to spell certain words, right? And it's like, well, you know what I mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're not starting with very much, just really.
Oh, that. That is true. Yeah, it helps when you start with something.
Yeah, you got to start with. You're beating me, but you're fine. What are the hard questions?
All night one.
Did you prepare like a lot of hard questions?
That's
Like, I'm
all
ready.
I had.
Do we have anybody that wants to ask questions?
We have Kathleen. We want to
Okay.
have Kathleen pop in.
Sure.
All right. I hope she's ready because here she comes.
Hello, Kathleen.
Hi.
Well, it's just so enjoyable to hear you all talk about the film, and the film is, it's really kind of delightful. It's funny, but it's been mentioned. There's a lot of heart to it, and it takes what could be a very competitive situation, and they are competitive. I mean, these folks are competitive. But it also emphasizes their connections and the relationships, and that's what it's all about. I mean, that I'm sure that any situation like that, the gaming world, it's about relationships, and hopefully those relationships are good. When you're working in the arts, it's about relationships. Sure, there's a painting, sure, there's a this or that, but it's all about relationship. And I think you pulled that together so beautifully. And I'm listening to you, and you're talking about, the casting and all of these thousands of people that you chose those folks from. And it's kind of hard to believe because the chemistry was just so good that I felt, and all of the timing was good. It was like and I know you're actors, right? You're professional actors. So, that's what you do. But you sure had me fooled. I thought that everybody knew each other. Or, I bought, when I'm watching the film, I buy so into those relationships, not just the scripted ones, but the ones between you. And I thought, it's really it's a lovely thing that you've created. One question I have is with working with the kids. How was that? And how was it writing for, each character has such a personality and different voice. How did you write for the kids with their voice, what they would say, and then working with those kids? How was that?
Well, I guess real quickly, Marissa was, how old was she? Was she 21 yet at that point, or like 18? She wasn't as young as she portrayed.
Look, okay.
And then Marwan was,
He was just started college.
and then Christian was,
He was a senior in high school, but he was like studying from home.
yeah.
So he had I guess finished all these tests so he could graduate already.
Yeah.
So even though he was a senior, he had already finished everything and he had a certificate. So that was a little easier just working with them. Patricia will talk about the creatively, but kind of the inspiration was the fact that if you ever go to a game shop, whether it's Friday Night Magic or any other time weekends, there are like people who are, my age, older, younger. I mean, there's kids that are like second graders, third graders playing like in reality. So kind of the inspiration is to show, how do you show the wide range of people and wide background in only a few characters. So it was kind of the inspiration was like real life.
Yeah.
Is including the kids. So
some of those young players are vicious too.
Yes. Yes.
I remember playing against somebody who was like 8 or 9, and he ripped me to shreds. I was like,
And I guess the I don't know, I guess the Kate character, once we flipped her over to being female, I definitely would say not the bullying part, but all the other smack talk and personality stuff. I definitely put a lot of myself into her character once we switched it over and kind of tweaked her character. I was not a bully, but I definitely was very sassy and mouthy, especially my parents. So, but yeah, the game shop stories from the guys that definitely inspired the kids, and meeting a lot of the kids that would play there. It was interesting to see that dynamic of kind of how they would fiddle with things and ask lots of questions at inappropriate times. Typical kid stuff.
I mean, Patricia was very gracious. We got to do a lot of improv on the set, and some of some of Christian's lines were or like moments that happened in the script were just because of the off time that we keep talking about, like in between shooting, like goofy stuff would happen, like people would get nicknames and it would like turn up in the shooting, and it was just a lot of fun.
Like Monkey Bear was,
Bear,
And like Kathleen, Christian's, this was his first film. So it was funny because he naturally, even though, he was a kid and he was new. And so it kind of like naturally came across his age. So even if he was reading it and he knew his lines and the way he just naturally acted, he acted like a kid. So that was funny.
It was one of the funny things was, when it was time for us to shift from doing general shooting, wide shots and group shots, things like that, and we switched to the table play. We had to keep reminding Christian, like, don't look at the camera directly. And then when we finally switched to the one-on-one shots where the actors were looking directly into the camera, we're like, okay, now you got to look into it. And you're just like, what? You've been telling me for like, don't look at the camera.
That's not fair, because that threw me off.
Now we got to change how we do this. So.
And even the other actors, right? Everybody was like uncomfortable. Like, no, we've known for years you never look in the camera. Just like,
it is odd.
Trust me, just do it. Just deliver it like you're talking to the camera. And then they look at it, and you're like, oh, that's why. but
Mhm.
funny.
Yeah, one of the weirdest things about film acting is eye lines and like where you're supposed to be looking versus where people are. Like
Mhm.
that always throws me. It's just so weird. It's like, oh, I'm talking to you, you're right here, but I have to look here or something weird like that. It's
They
weird.
could have
Or
like
like,
stickers on the lenses, like look.
oh yeah, or
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the one-on-one shots, you're looking directly in the camera and somebody's reading the lines over here. It's weird.
And I know some actors don't like doing that, you know, especially when I guess, you know, you're dealing with a bigger budget film and bigger budget actors. I know a lot of people will use stand-ins, and but to me, the payoff of actually having the actors that people were really truly playing against, reading opposite of them, just made for such a authentic performance, and everybody just really went for it. So. So definitely very grateful to be able to actually get that. It was fun. It was fun for me to watch. It was always just magic every time, you know, the camera started rolling.
Is that why? That's why we didn't have stand-ins.
Not in the budget.
Not in the
I'm
budget.
a pretty big budget actor. I just, you know, I'm glad that we wanted the art of it. It wasn't because of budget, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if I had, I mean, honestly, that's just the way I would love to always be able to do that.
But I agree with you. As big as a budget I
Hey,
am.
David, could we really fit another person in that shop?
Right. That's true.
I mean, that shop was pretty tight, right? I mean, it's like
We always had to do the crab walk behind
Yeah.
the counters. Remember that?
Yeah, and we kept because it was a very narrow place, and we kept bumping our chairs into the glass case.
I think like the bumping into each other like helped.
Yeah. Totally.
Like it comes across like you can tell we're all bumping into each other.
And even when you mentioned the how old the set was and how old everything was, that really helped get you in the mindset of, you know, of the shop. You know, it wasn't something that you had to dress because it had been there for years. And you all, when I came every day, and especially when I had to go back into my office, I'd be looking around at some of that stuff. Wow, this has been here since the 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
So it really put you in my character in the mindset of, yeah, he had this business forever, and you know, it's still going, and you really felt part of it.
Yeah, and it had that smell. Like when you walk into a game shop, it has a smell. It's like, oh, I know where I am. See, you know what I'm saying, Juan, right?
It was authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually a smell that comes from people.
My throat started closing up sitting in the back room. That was our video village area, so I was stuck back there, and I got, yeah, it was bad. So I wound up having to take like double the dosage of Claritin every day, which probably not good, but it's the only way I could sit back there.
I forget your character had an office, man. That's like, it's cool.
Yeah. He goes in the back to hide from you guys, right?
I had to go to Cupcake Shop.
Yeah, it's like always poking his head in. All right, okay. All right.
so. Juan, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And this is interesting. We ask it a lot of audiences, and it's always interesting. So, who was your favorite character? But also, who do you most identify with? And I would say, I've never had someone say the same person yet. So, any thoughts on either one? Just if anybody stood out, or the person you most relate to, character-wise.
Man, now I got to think for a second. I mean, honestly, it's probably Thomas's character, because I would be the guy that would kind of. I was the really awkward guy, but I was the guy that kind of kept everyone together. Like that's the. I don't know why that's sticking out in my head. As you can tell, I'm just naturally awkward. So it hasn't really gone away.
I think you're holding it together. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, Paul was kind of like the everyman in the shop. He was like, you know, he wasn't the best. He was there. He showed up and he had fun. And I think that was an important person to be in that shop. And of course, because it was my character, you know, it's nice that
You're like the glue.
It'd be interesting to hear from the actors, like kind of like a favorite line or a favorite scene that you did in the film, and why. I guess.
Well, one of my favorite moments is not mine, but it was Thomas's. The like million no's. We're like, no. You have like no's. I love those no's. It was great.
Did you notice that each no meant something different?
That was brilliant.
It's like no. I mean, it's all. If you go back and watch, they're itching. I mean, Thomas does a great job about it. But
it was great.
No, it's something different. It's a different pitch, and it actually means something different.
Yeah, your whole reel could just be that.
just me saying no in different situations. Yeah, I like that.
Paul says no.
Some of my favorite moments was watching Dua, like just go off, and I think.
Oh yeah.
Just when he would go off, I remember being there, like because I couldn't be in the room because it was just so outrageous. And like I remember biting my hand so hard, like there were teeth marks in my hand because I had to be quiet. It was a lot, but it was so I laughed so hard.
Yeah,
that's sad.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
I think some of my favorite lines were, especially when I read the script, so many of the lines that Arthur said were things that I would say in real life. You know, I can't do it at work like I have, you know, at your regular job where you're not the boss. I had a business partner who owned a printing computer service bureau. So he was kind of like Arthur, where he could say he was the boss, so he could say whatever he wants. One minute he'll be smiling and joking with you, and the next minute, who did that? You know, he'll just be snapping. So that's why I really like that character, because it was so much of me. You know, one minute I'm normal, the next minute someone gets on my nerve, and you don't have to, you know, you don't have to worry. Am I going to step on anybody's toes? Am I going to offend anybody? Hey, this is my place. I can say what I want. You know. Yeah. So that was some of my favorite things from the character. Just the freedom that he had, just to be himself. He didn't have to worry about hurting anybody's feelings or making them feel bad. Just, you know, just go, do it.
Did we ever come up with how many languages Arthur spoke?
Yeah, and I love that. I love that too. When I was nervous at first when I read it, but then when I came across Google Translate, I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
I really enjoyed shooting the scene where I get hit in the face. I just think, like, you know, doing choreography for fights and stuff like that, it's just so neat because you have to do it, because when you do it on stage you have to do it in a way for the audience, but then in film it's for the camera, and it's even like in the space when you're doing it, it looks really weird and may not work, but like you see the shot in the dailies, it's like, oh wow,
it did work.
Like it hurt. Yeah. And my hair was so long and it was just like yeah.
When's the afro coming back?
I like to keep it more tame nowadays.
I don't know. It's all I'm wondering about.
No, I do miss the long sideburns. I thought that was cool.
Good look.
Yeah.
The claps. So, David, what was your favorite scene or line or experience?
Dude, I got nothing, man. I don't know. I just remember I only had like 2 pairs of pants during the shoot, and like I used one of my pairs of pants for the shoot, and I didn't realize we'd be shooting for so long. So then, like on all my other activities, I had to use my other pair of pants.
So wait, you as a person only had 2 pairs of pants?
Well, yeah, and then they were like, "Hey, we need you to wear a pair of pants." So I was like, "Oh, cool, no problem." You know.
How many pants do you have now, David?
Probably the same two. I remember it being a big problem because, like, I thought we were gonna shoot for a couple days. You know, you're good, but then
I mean, there was a schedule.
I know, he's like, he just didn't read the schedule.
It is an ensemble piece, so like there's like multiple people in each.
I don't think I got that email.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So then, like 2 weeks in, you're like, dude, these pants are hurting. Can we switch them out? They're like, no, you can't switch them. That's the. I'm like, oh, okay. I know. And then I sort of understood. And I had cupcake frosting all over them. And I'm trying to understand, like, oh.
Didn't
Okay.
Wasn't there Friday or something? Julie.
It just got really bad. So that was kind of like.
She washed
that
it.
was-
There was one time in there she washed everything, and I think she washed her pants, David.
That was the problem. Yeah.
But we wouldn't trust you to take them home. We're like, no, give them to the
I think
cop.
at this moment in my life, I have like 2 or 3 pairs.
I think we should get some more pants.
But dude, I moved to Texas. It's hot, man. Shorts.
Yeah, we'll start it.
Who's wearing pants anymore? It's like 1,000 degrees out here. So that was the big. That's most of my memory of the shoot is just like my legs sweating.
It was very hot. I still wear I have the pants I wore in tournament. I still wear those a lot. They're very nice pants.
I don't remember what pants I was wearing.
That's your date night pants.
Hey, honey, I got my tournament pants on.
We got a babysitter tonight. No, that's literally all my
Shorts
memory.
or jeans?
Who?
Airy.
Jeans. I think jeans. I don't remember which ones. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Kate was the only one that wore shorts, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
But I have.
If I ever did a movie, I'd wear shorts.
I'm an adult person, so.
You're in like a 1930s period piece, like wearing a suit and shorts.
Yeah.
All right, imagine the next movie they offer you. I'm like, hey man, do you want to wear pants or shorts?
Yeah, they definitely say that to actors.
Well, F it, I'm gonna do shorts.
Yeah. Well, if you're asking.
I imagine that being a part in all your contracts. Must wear shorts.
That's how you know, like looking back in time, like the smartest actors wore shorts.
All shots are like from here up.
I'm just saying, man. Got a little hot.
That's definitely not what I was expecting to hear from you, David.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Another funny part is everybody had like a bag of snacks that was theirs that they had through the shoot. Like I remember Ricardo had peanuts, and James Hal Hardy had hot Cheetos. So every time you see that in the store,
Peter had Cheetos.
Yeah, but I remember. Oh, that's funny. I just got that. But he would do a thing where he would wipe the dust on his shirt, so you can see there's like a smear of Cheeto dust on his shirt.
Yeah.
Juan, that no one ever does anything like that, right? That's totally made up, fictional.
No, I've
No one
never
ever wipes
done
their
that.
hands on their
No.
Mike is very particular about things, but definitely the germaphobe, hand sanitizer bit was definitely me, hands down.
Or combination
Or
like
combination.
us, because you always want, you have that person that, oh, can I see the card? And of course that's the person who like has been eating Cheetos, and you're like, okay, I guess. But yeah. So
it's like, don't touch my card.
Yeah.
You just ate something greasy with your hands.
or you
It's
just
like,
came from the
what?
bathroom, please don't.
And that same guy was around when you were kids too. Like there's always that kid you don't want to touch your Pokemon cards because it's just like all kinds of nasty.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't play games in the game shop with the guys, and I barely had played Magic when I wrote this. So our co-writer definitely was a huge part of mechanics and the smack talk and things like that. But we always played epic board games with our friends and get very heated arguments and battles, that sort, especially with dice and cards and lots of yelling. So it would definitely fit right in with the trading card game concept.
Very passionate.
Very passionate. So there was none of me and Margot whatsoever. Take things very seriously. So it's kind of fun, like, taking characters, it's being inspired by people that you've met, and then people that Mike had met and Sam had met, and then Thomas, just kind of rolling them all together and putting little pieces of ourselves and other people that we have enjoyed meeting over the years, and maybe not so much too, But.
If there's not any other questions, I can throw another one fun fact. I don't know if we ever mentioned this at the Myrtle Beach. We had screenings before, but it was funny. Remember, Thomas, we were in the middle of, like, the script was really solid. We were very close to shooting. There was this one pace. It was like after round 2, and it was like a bridging scene. And there was this scene that was originally written that there was going to be this debate about movies. And Patricia was just like, this doesn't feel right. We don't know what to do. And all three of us were scratching our heads like, what can we do? And then do you remember how it all transpired? So we all went to the game shop on Friday night, and
I stayed back and I was working.
Patricia was working on it, and somebody, I guess, had something that didn't agree with their stomach very well, and just blew up the game shop. And so we were just like, we're so bad, so disgusting. And I remember us like, I don't know, maybe you weren't there, Thomas. Maybe you and Patricia were talking. I came back and I told the story, and she's like,
yeah, I remember that now.
Oh my God, that's it. That is so much more realistic and better than this. I think that night she wrote that. She cut out the other part, wrote that part in the script, and so the fart scene, the fart joke, actually popped into the script. Yeah, and we were reading it, and we're like, "Oh, that's way better. It's way better."
Yeah, what did you have to do, David, to get into that moment? I'm really curious. Can you tell us?
I mean, like that moment in my life, it's been a major part of my life. Like, I really didn't have to rehearse much. It's one of those things. Like, look, we're all people.
It happens.
Things happen, and just figure everyone was accepting. No, I got nothing on that. Come on.
No, that was a good answer. You could have fooled us.
That was a vengeful.
I definitely didn't mean what I said there.
Yeah,
I was acting. I think my problem is I'm such a good actor. You guys can't tell what's the difference.
Yeah.
Was that really him or not?
Yes, that is your problem. That is.
That's why I left Los Angeles. It's like I had to blame everybody else why I never made it, But I'm ready for the sequel.
Yes, speaking of sequel, I know you were just talking about how you were a board gamer. Maybe take it to the next step and take it to like a place like Scarab or something.
Ooh, I have not played that game, but that's
like the gaming convention.
Oh,
so yeah, we talked about it. That we've always thought the next logical step for however you get there would be Tournament 2 would involve some of these characters going to a regional or a convention. So whether it be like Gen Con or Origins or an SCG Con, that you go from the shop, now you know the characters and they're going for bigger stakes, because it's referred to in the first movie like she's a regional champion. Well, what is that? Oh, it's this convention, because gamers know what it is. But people outside, they're like, wow, they have these game shops. Oh yeah, and they have these huge conventions where like thousands of people get together and compete and do all this trading and sell cards. So that was always the next logical thing. Now, whether you do that as a movie, we do that as a series leading up to them going there. That's where Patricia and I kind of been tossing around. Then ultimately, the great thing would be part 3 would be where it's a total fish out of water and you go to a world championship. So you bring some of these characters, and we also laughed. We thought, wouldn't it be funny if the third one was they go to like lungs, they go to like China or somewhere like that, where everybody they're fish out of water. You know, the American players are fish out of water, and you get all the game shots from different countries, but also they're in a totally different country, and just the comedy gold in that. That was always, you know, like the wish list in the future. That's how you progress from the small store to the convention, the world championships. But whether it's movies or whether it's series, you know, that's to be seen. Hopefully, we'll take the next step with Myrtle Beach Games, though.
And then you get to learn a little bit more about Arthur, his background.
Yes.
And we just kind of like, you know, give you a little bit more nuggets along the way. That definitely.
Yeah. So Arthur. And
everybody wanted more of Arthur. That was like one of the big comments after every screening was just like questions about Arthur and, well, you know, what about this?
Yeah, that's great.
Maybe the store owners all get together, have their own side games, side bets, whatever interactions.
When you were saying that, I was thinking that, like, right, if he put the team together, he might have a big bet on it or something, you know, everything's riding on it or whatever, you know, so something like that. But I think I had mentioned to you guys before, I didn't want to seem obnoxious, but when I first saw it, I was like, this is a series, you know, this could be a pilot for a series. I know you guys remember I mentioned that to you back then. But what I wanted to say too is you don't really have to make a firm choice, because you could shoot a pilot and you can also shoot the additional content needed to make it a standalone film if you want it. You know, so that's not really hard to do. You know what I mean? It could be a pilot, but then you also can shoot additional content to have it as a film if you can't sell the pilot. You know, so that's something to think about.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of possibilities in doing kind of like a series.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be only series. It could be series, film series, you know,
Right,
kind of that sort of things.
Because there's no end of need for television content nowadays with all these streaming services. It's just like unbelievably endless.
We just need to get Thomas down here to Myrtle Beach. We'll go to Myrtle Beach Games. We'll get him all inspired again. Get him playing some Magic and board games, and we'll have board game night here. And what we do last time? Hey, Thomas, just come out for like a week. You know, help us go these things. Like 6 months later, he's involved. We see a feature film. So Thomas, just come down to Myrtle Beach for a week or two, and what's the other
the key is buying a one-way ticket. When you buy a one-way ticket, you never know what's going to happen.
That will give you flexibility. You're like, oh, no problem. You could always just, you know.
He's
Do
like,
you guys remember the Guild?
Yes, we had a lot of people talk to us about that, right, Thomas? The Guild, and so. Yeah, we knew about it, and
I know Sam had seen it.
From the writers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because it's like nobody's been able to fill that hole ever since that was forever ago. That thing stopped, and this just seems like because World of Warcraft died, you know, but Magic the Gathering has been going for how long?
Mm-hmm.
And games like that,
30 years, I think they're celebrating. So
yeah. I mean, you have the longevity there, and like nothing's been able to fill that hole yet. I mean, there's an opening for it.
Yeah. So, Kathleen, do you have any other questions for us? You have us at your disposal for.
Oh. Well, you know, just what was just said about, you know, 30 years of people playing this game, and you've got parents and children and probably grandparents. You've got a huge huge audience for the show, and for numerous sequels and a series. I think a series would be terrific. How would you do that, though? Or would you have it be in one location, or like one you were talking about going to a competition? Would the series then just be filmed at that one location, that competition? Or would each, I mean, you'd have to structure it out and plot it
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
I think a series would be fantastic, because each week or each episode could perhaps even focus in on a particular character,
Hmm.
and we get to know that person more over the course of that focused episode. But then you see their arc as as it extends over the season. Um, I just wanted to ask a little bit about editing. And you wrote the film, then you shot it, and then you edited what I saw.
Hmm.
So how was that? Do you have any were there any like things that happened or changes that took place with those different stages to get to what I saw?
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, for
are
sure.
there like one or two big things that happened, like between script and shooting, or shooting and editing, that really stand out for you?
So
Well,
Patricia will talk a little bit about the editing and I guess how many editors we had to go through. Part of the problem, but I think Patricia was the writer director, and very few people could really understand how this would look at the end. But I think Patricia knew exactly how she wanted it to look. But it's always a challenge too. Does someone see what you want it to see, or do they see what they want, how they want it to be? So when Patricia would ask for something, and she's like, "No, in my mind that doesn't look right because this is what I have in mind." Like we did over 70 green screen shots in one day. All those green screens or their cutaways where they're battling, that was all done in one day. But it was because that was the last day actually, and Patricia knew, like she knew how it was going to be inserted or how she wanted to be inserted. So I think it was nice having her write it, direct it, and she knew what she wanted. And the hard part was finding the person to fulfill her vision. So that I'll leave it to Patricia a little bit about the difficulty then in editing it the way she already had edited it in her mind.
well, I mean, I already knew who I wanted to have as my initial editor, but she wasn't available. So then we got her at the end. But really, I guess the biggest funny story, not so funny for him, was James Hal Hardy, who played Stu, wound up needing a root canal. Um, I don't know, close to the end of shooting, and we wound up having to rewrite two scenes to write him leaving. So the fight scene we actually added in to get him out, and then having him come back in. That was all added to accommodate him leaving to go get dental work done, which was insane, having to rewrite that so we could continue shooting. And obviously Thomas was a huge help with that. He helped with the scene outside, where then we sent Thomas's character and Grace's character. Shoot, now I can't remember the name. Aaron, having them go stand out in front of the store and talk while this fight was going inside, and Stu walks out, and it was, yeah. But I actually, serendipitously, I absolutely love those scenes and those moments, and it was a fun moment with Arthur and David. Them, almost duking it out, so to speak, because he had just had it with all the bullying, and it's really added a lot of chaos. So it was a huge challenge to rewrite that and then film it, and then also that it actually worked out in the edit. It was just a miracle that it all worked out. So yeah, it's crazy.
But eventually, the other thing too is we had like 3 editors, and they didn't get the story. They wanted to cut it a certain way. I mean, one person didn't like a particular character, so ended up cutting out that character's lines. And you're like,
They didn't like. Well, no,
Yeah.
they didn't like that we made Margot. So like Margot's too mean, and we're like, that's her character. Like they just didn't like the fact that we had this like mean, sort of like powerful. You weren't mean, but like you could be a little mean, and they just they kept cutting her parts out.
That
was
cut
one of the
was like
things,
50 minutes, and we're like, you just cut half the movie.
Yeah. Like just like rewrote it was like rewriting the film, and I was like, oh my god, this is just crazy. Like who does that? Yeah.
So Margot, you were mean.
A little
Margot,
bit.
how do you feel about being mean?
I don't think I was mean. I think
You were a little mean, but not overly mean.
I was just aggressive.
Yeah.
I just stood up for what I wanted.
So then it was just, finally we got the final editor, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to follow the script. I'm going to follow the script, and I'm going to take the clips that were marked as your favorites as the director, and I'm going to string them together.
Novel
I'm
concept.
like, wow, what a novel concept. And in the first cut of that, you were like, oh, there's the movie that's been hiding from the editors.
Yep.
So then it was tweaked. So.
And then, then she would present options where, we're like, oh, well, it's a little fuzzy here, or, this person's line, or, the timing didn't work or whatever, just, whatever. She would come up with solutions. It wouldn't just be like, well, I don't know what to do here. She would come up with, okay, these are two ways of, creating a solution to this problem, which was amazing. So, she was trained at USC Film School, so I think I have to look a little bit harder again to find an editor from there, because she was very well trained there, and obviously very talented, but taught very well too how to work with the director and the footage and problem solve. But I know everybody's probably got to get going soon. Juan, did you want to wrap things up with any final comments or?
The only thing I can think of at the moment is, as a guy who's edited a lot of videos, it's nice when someone knows what they want. Because just being sent off into, whatever.
Direction is important.
Yeah. It never works out.
Yeah. But it's fun though, collaborating with an editor and, with all the other department heads, because, you have this idea and this vision, and then people come up with all these different ways that you can reach that goal, and then you kind of get to choose, oh yeah, that's a really neat idea, or oh no, I think it's still more this way. And then that give and take, and that whole process of getting to the finish line, and of course the actors coming up with their own brilliant, funny, witty ideas along the way. They did so great, and we couldn't rehearse because we couldn't fund rehearsal time, and a lot of them I know worked on their own to rehearse, and it really showed their dedication and enthusiasm. So I'll always be grateful for this group here.
All right, and I did stick the link to sign up for the scripts. I can't say the word subscription right now. Yeah, that's in the, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, it's in the description to sign up for that.
Thank you.
That's all I can think of.
All right.
We'll see you guys at the game shop soon.
Yes, and just follow us on Instagram or Facebook for future updates, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys. Thank you.
It was so great to see everybody.